Quinn for the Witcher Film Awards, and we're here at the 6th Annual Indie Film Festival at Cinema Village. And I'm here with one of the panel members. He's going to introduce us and tell us a little bit about what he's been working on.
I'm Ghasem Ebrahimian, and I'm an Iranian American living in New York. And I've been making movies since 1977 in New York, and also other countries as well. And
I thought your perspective of being a foreigner working in Iran and feeling more censorship, that they were more willing to step on your idea and say, no, just can't make that, was fascinating.
Yes. Yeah, well, because, like any country, when you're coming from the outside to do something, they're a bit more suspicious. They have some fear of some sort. So some of it is, just human, thing, and some of it is part of the system, how they want to control and how to really want to make sure that what you're making is not insulting them or politically agitating something. It's all about that kind of fear that exists.
You don't want someone coming in and making trouble politically.
Exactly,
with the film.
Exactly. So that's why, I stayed here and I've been making films, here, basically.
And I thought it was fascinating to see your perspective with dealing with the Shah's administration and before the war, and then talking with younger filmmakers who have been dealing with the administration after the war.
Yes. Well, we had in the 60s and 70s, we had a fantastic Iranian new wave cinema, and that really was very, very beautifully received internationally, but also domestically at the time because of the Shah. It was kind of, they didn't like criticism. They didn't like to show poor people in Iran, and they didn't like to see people, that Iran is in a bad light in a sense. So they were very sensitive, and there was some censorship. After the revolution, the censorship was much more severe because it was about women and how they are dressed and how they are, portrayed, and also the war that happened from 1980 to 1987. It was devastating for the country, and many filmmakers didn't make films. Actually, it was either propaganda films for the war or agitational films and political films. So there were many films that many filmmakers just stayed quiet for a while. But then as the war ended, the three major filmmakers in Iran, Amir Naderi at that time, and Beizai and Kiarostami, they started making films and bringing the cinema back into the culture, and that was the beginning of the new era of Iranian cinema.
I find it fascinating to hear about the entrepreneurs who simply go online, download films, and then run out and sell the DVD. That's in every culture I've ever seen where there's any restriction these days.
Exactly, because a lot of people are curious, and Iranians culturally are very film friendly. They love movies. Almost every Iranian watches movies. They really love it. So when the restrictions came, these DVDs were released underground. Basically, people would just copy them over and over and over, and then just go to the corner and sell them, and people, would buy them, and they're still, watching them.
They still do that here, where they take the cameras in and it's on the street.
That's right, exactly.
It's everywhere you have any kind of ability to make profit off it, someone's going to step in and do it. So I also, having never spoken Farsi, knowing only from an English perspective, I liked your description of the language itself being very cinematic, and that led to people being able to translate their ideas onto cinema.
Well, the Persian literature is really ancient, and some of our greatest writers and poets were very influential in cinema because they really describe every scene. And also the paradigm is not the Western paradigm, which is Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. It was basically layered, meaning that there are many, many, many acts within the story. So that, and it's interwoven, it's labyrinthal, like a labyrinth. You're entering a labyrinth, and to get to the truth, you have to go through so many paths to get there, and that's very unique to Persian literature because it was always about how you get somewhere. It wasn't a straight line. It wasn't about how we do it in the West, which is really like
linear.
Exactly.
Am I wrong in thinking that the maze is also in the artistic culture of the time as well? That
totally. The maze. If you look at the paintings, and and then the miniatures. They are really, really detailed of like storylines that are all over the painting. So you are putting it together. You're putting a tapestry, and you're putting a magnificent storyline by looking at the painting. So that was also part of Iranian culture that was seeped into the cinema and seeped into filmmaking, basically.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us.
For having us.
And thank you for the
so
panel.
Much.
The panel was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate